it doesn't lead us to become successful or to be a happy person, but it also will needed self-control together, so that when we need to stop or when we need to control, or when it's needed at that time, so that we can step back or we can restrain ourselves. So self-control is also a very important when we have desires. So many youths, we have desires. Some we have desires of shopping, eating, and doing something great, or gambling also. Many people become addicted or become miserable in their life just because of desires. Because desire continually grows, there is no satisfaction word in the inside of the word desire. So when there is desire or to have something, then it continually grows. So if there is no self-control, then and it will eventually lead us to become unhappy, and then we will begin to complain in our heart, and then we will become unhappy in everything. We cannot be content and we cannot be satisfied. So it seems like when we have like a habit or a desire, and we used to spend like a monthly 5,000 expenditure, but our parents can provide us as like 10,000, and then at the time we can be happy and we can be satisfied. But when our desires is more than 10,000, and when we spend a lot of expenditure in a per month, at that time our parents cannot provide us, then we will eventually begin to complain, and then we will eventually hate them, even for not being able to support us, and then we will have a lot of complaint and we will have darkness inside of our heart, and then even youths fall into depressions because of those things, because they cannot achieve what they want, what they wish to have, that is desire. So here you can see this rate is the desire of a children, it's lower. So and the another here you can see this is the uh, parent ability. So when parent ability is higher than the children desire, at the time children can also become happy and parents also. So everyone can be comfortable along together with us. But if our desire is much higher at the time with another people, we cannot be happy, and we will make uncomfortable to even to our parents and to even to our people who is around us. So having desire or and then self-control together can only make us happy and satisfied. So when we have that self-control and desire at the time, when we know how to stop when it's needed, when we know how to control ourselves in the things that we want to have at the time, and we can be also happy and our parents also happy, everyone surrounding us can be happy. So in the same way, like vehicle will become a perfect car or the perfect vehicle when its engine is very strong engine and good engine, and also it has a good brake system, and then it can lead into our destiny safely, and it's safe for people to travel in that vehicle. So in that way, desires and self-control is has to be one together along in the same track, and it will lead us to be a happy person, and we can live our life being thankful to other people and being thankful for what we have in day to day of our life. So I'm very thankful for giving me this chance to share. So this is shortly I share about desire. So this much I want to share, and I really hope that through this mind lectures, we will learn, our youth will learn how to control ourselves and how to have a self-control in our life and become happy person in this world. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really very encouraging. Really happy to see prepare a beautiful PPT. But of course, that is not my part. I'm just saying. I would like to announce the contestants so that you can be ready. Second, we will have Mr. Akam from Nagaland, followed by our general from Manipur. So now we will have Second contestant, Mr. Akam from Nagaland, followed by Mr. General, our principal from Manipur. Now,
Mm.
please take your time.
Hi everyone. My name is Akam, and I'm from Nagaland. Today I will share. Today I will share. Uh, Today I will share desire. Desire. The desire. Looks like car. Car. When car break and engine. You thought this that that brake is you thought uh is subcontrol and desire is engine is engine when that 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 desire will you will not when you go then you cannot go in the car and then when they have this engine and then you can go uh, uh, that sub control and desire and then same me also I want to become a singer. I want to become a singer, and all the time I watch phone. I will use phone, and I watch phone, and then my family was calling me that why you are watching phone, and then you want to become a singer. Then you want to become a singer. Then why you are watching to me? Then I learned myself that desire is a getter and then sub control is fun. And when I will mix these two desire and sub control, when I will mix these two, and I can be a singer also, and I can be a great person, good person. Then I give so thanks. I learned this that the lecture. When that lecture I cannot learn, then I can learn. Then I would be a bad guy. Now I'm a good guy, and I give thank you. This I'll just off this now. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. Just like we said in the beginning, it's not about how good you speak or it's not about how well you have prepared. We just want to see how you break your heart. We just want to see how you overcome your burden. So the first step is the most difficult step. But if you take the first step, then the next step is going to be easy. So I'm very thankful to brother for really breaking your heart and then overcoming that burden in your heart and then taking part in this contest. Yes, moving on to the next contestant, we have our general principal from Manipur, followed by Miss Aju from Nagaland. Sir, please, you can take your time.
Thank you very much, IMEI, for giving me a chance to speak. In fact, myself, Swayam General Singh. I am I'm a teacher. Today, my topic, in fact, desire. Bible says, "In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth." But I say, in the beginning, it was God's desire to create our universe. Because of that desire of the God, we humans are also created. People say necessity is the mother of invention, but I say desire is the mother of all invention in history. It is the desire which we humans are put forward. For example, an athlete runs for extra miles because of the desire to excel in his or her field. A student burns the midnight oil because of the desire to excel in his or her studies. Likewise, a person pushes himself more and more to earn extra income with a desire to become a rich person. And also, it is that desire itself that a person can strive to become rich. So, the word desire is very important in our life. Human desire is good. However, if, only if, it is within our control. It is stated, there is no end to man's desire, but there are limits to person's ability. And the problem arises when one's desire exceeds his ability. Over here, we can take the example of a car or a horse, in fact. A horse has very potential. However, if it doesn't have the control or if it doesn't tame, we cannot utilize it for our fantasy. So first, we have to tame the potential. We have to tame and we have to make it domestic, the wild horse. Once we have tamed it, we know the way to have connection with us. Then it is very useful animal. So likewise, we can take example of a vehicle where the engine is very good, an excellent engine. Once, for example, if you start and if you just put the accelerator, it goes to 180 kilometer per hour in fact. But that kind of Ferrari or whatever, that kind of vehicle, if the manufacturer doesn't put the brake, what will happen? Everything will be gone wrong. Accident might happen. I might have died or somebody might have died. So to us, a desire is very good, but we have to have the control. So let this desire which we are having should be controlled by the self control in fact. Over here, I would like to give emphasis to the parents. Parents need to study, need to teach self control to their children from the early childhood. We should not give whatever the children ask for. In early stage of our childhood, in fact, the children demands are very less, where at a time we may able to pay more or able to give more whatever they are asking. For example, they are asking for one or two, in fact, we may be able to give everything because of the because they are child, they are asking, they are very small things. But even though we are able to pay more or to fulfill it all, but we should not do. We should at least cut whatever they are. For example, if they are asking for the five stuff, we should give three, two, whatever. Because if we keep on giving whatever they are demanding, there will be a time when the children desire will keep on growing because of the state they are going. There will be a time when their demand are much more above than our ability to pay or to give or to fulfill. At a time, what will happen? The children will say, "Why you people are born like why we are born as your children?" They will say that way. So we have to break their heart in one sense. We have to control. We have to teach them the self-control and all this thing. Because at their childhood stage, if we break their heart, we should break their heart. And at that stage, when their heart is broken, they cannot run away from the home, in fact, because they are child. However, if we break the heart when they become adults, then the whole will be over. So this is the problem, in fact. So parents have to control from the beginning, from the childhood stage. So there are many people who are serving in the jail or in many places. For example, I'm now working in a rehab institute as a part of that, in an internship, in fact. I have seen practically many youth, in fact, who don't know they don't know how to control their desire. They are just following. Ultimately, they lead to the drugs, and obviously they will go to jail and all those things, in fact. So we need to control, in fact, from childhood. Just following their desire or impulse, ultimately they will lead to the very negative life of crime. So lastly, but not least, we must learn how not to exalt our heart, but to humble our heart instead. We must learn how to control our desires, then we may become truly happy. It must, I would like to say, thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak. Thank you, IMEI, for this chance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm very happy we are getting to listen. We are getting to learn many interesting things. I'm so happy. Moving on to the next, we have now Miss Atung from Nagaland, followed by Miss Lumvila. So I request our participant, Miss Atung, to please take your time.
Hello everyone. A very good evening to each and everyone. From today's my lecture contest, I like to share the topic desire. Before sharing my topic, I want to give a definition about desire. Desire is a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. There is no end to a person's desire, but there are limits to a man's desire, but there are limits to a person's abilities. Problems arise when one's desire exceeds his abilities. When we keep on fulfilling our desires, we tend to have more desires. So, uh, uh, so self-control from a young age is necessary for everyone. As long as we keep growing and as long as the world keeps changing, our desires also keeps on rising, and so people who doesn't have the function to control their desire faces lots of problems. I would like to give an example of relation between desire and happiness. For example, in a family, uh, when the desire of the children rises and the ability of the parents decreases, it leads to frustration in the family. So the larger the income of the parents, the larger of the desire of the children also keeps growing, and then frustration arises in the family. So that's the relation between re- desire and happiness. Second, I would like to give an example of a car related to desire and self-control. If a car have a good looks uh, but and then if it has a good engine, and then but with if the brakes is not working properly, it will lead to accidents. So likewise, desire and self control is also related like the car of engine and like the car of engine and brakes. So if the brakes doesn't work properly, and it will lead to accident. And then if the condition of the brakes is better than the engine, it will be safe. So likewise, desire is also controlled in the mind. And into this world, many youngsters, they don't know how to control their desires, and then they end up their lives in prison because they commit crime, and they cannot control their desires. So since they cannot control their desires, they end up doing crime, and then they end up their lives living a miserable life. So self self control from a young age is very necessary in order to overcome desire and establish the self control in our lives. We can follow. We need to have some ways, like we can have a mentor, and then we need the ability to think, and then we need to have dreams, like ambitious mind, and then we need to overcome burdens, and then we need to live a life of challenge. So if we have this, we can overcome our desires, and then if we have this in our life, we can live a successful life, and then we will live a happy life. There will be happiness in our family too if we have the self control. So I would like to end up my presentation here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As you present as you take part in this contest, this is not only a kind of a competition, but as you speak, you will also learn something and something will remain in your heart. So I'm very, very thankful. Once again, I would like to request all the participants who have joined this program to kindly turn on your video. Please kindly turn on your videos and then you can encourage the participants. Moving on to the next, we have Miss Numvila, followed by Mr. Sausakan. Miss Numvila from Netherlands, followed by Mr. Sausakan. Please take your time.
Um, Good evening, everyone. My name is Lumvila, and I'm from Nagaland. And the topic that I'll be speaking about is desire. So, what is desire? Desire is a very strong feeling of, of wanting something or wanting to do something. But have you learned that if we have desire, we also need to have self control over our desire? There is no end to a man's desire, but there are limits to a person's abilities. Problems arise when one's dream exceeds his ability. Chronic complaints about desire ruin life and make everything miserable. So, learning self control from a very young age is very, very important. And I would like to give an example. Pastor Akios, can you please show the TPT? Uh, uh, in a car, there is both brake and engine. So let's take the brake as self-control and engine as the desire. So when we want to go out, we always take our car to go out. But knowing that we don't have brake, how can we go? So when uh, so when desire when desire overtakes self-control, it leads to dangerous and miserable life. But when self-control overtakes desire, we have a happy life. So desire that is controlled in mind, our life becomes happy and safe. So another example is um, when a man sees a shoe in a shopping mall, he wants to buy that because it is desire, so he buys that. But when he buys that, he sees his suit and he wants to buy a new suit because his new shoe doesn't suit the old suit, so he buys a new suit. So when he buys a new suit, he wants to buy a new phone because his phone doesn't suit his shoe and his suit. So after buying a phone, he wants to buy a laptop. So our desire keeps on increasing, and there is no limit to our desire. But when we have self-control, we will be able to control our desires. So even me, my friend, because of consuming too much of tobacco, he went through several operations because because of not having control over eating tobaccos because of his desires, he was hospitalized. So because of that, it ruined his life. So when we have desire, but when we don't have self-control, everything is gonna be ruined. Nothing is gonna be happy. And even me, I I really have desires to watch televisions and touch phones. And instead of studying, I always watch televisions and touch phones. But when my parents teach me about self-control over desire, I got to know how important is self-control in our life. So when I started to have self-control over my desires, I was able to overcome all the temptations and study much harder. And the the 5 points to increase our self-control is mentor, like my parents. Ability to think. These days, many youths they don't think because they get everything they want. A regular life, an aim in life, and to overcome burdens and temptations. These 5 points will increase your self-control. And when self-control when you have self-control over your desires, everything is gonna be happy in your life. So from today's lecture, what we have learned is that having desire is normal. All human beings have desires, but we also need to learn that if we have desire, we need to have self-control over it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Moving on to the next contestant, we have Mr. Sasakan. followed by Sister Ring from Manipur. So I request Mr. Safkan to please take your time.
Yes, very good evening to one and all present here. So my voice is audible to everyone, I guess. Okay. So I would kindly ask the host to allow to share the screen so that I can present with my lecture. Okay. So kindly host allow me to share the. Okay. Thank you very much. So today's mind lecture contest that we are having based on desire. So the definition of desire, as we start with today's topic. So desire. So uh, so the definition for desire is, you can see, a strong feeling of wanting or wishing something to have something or to happen. So as a human being, the one to have a desire is actually very natural, and it is not something that like every one doesn't have. So the thing is how to control the desire of one self is. So without self control, if we keep on having desire, then our life can be very much dangerous and can lead to many sufferings and miseries. So the thing is, have you learned self control from a young age? So desires are something which cannot be fulfilled. There is no end to a man's desires. So man's desire can never be fulfilled until they uh, after they satisfy one, and the desire keeps on growing and just keeps on growing. So there is, if there is no self control in ourselves, then our desires cannot be controlled. So and then also there are limits to person's abilities. For example, if a family is earning 1,000 rupees salary, and if the child's desire is more or half of the salary which their parents are earning, then it can be very dangerous for their children, and they will not have the heart to control themselves. So problem arises when one's desire exceeds his abilities. So the most important thing for us, and then also for the children who are raising, who are being raised, they need to be trained how to control on their desire. So training of one desire is important. So I would like to share one story about what happens when one's desire exceeds one ability. So there is a story of Colonel Kim, who was a full-time soldier, and he was discharged from army. So after discharging from army, he worked at a warehouse at the harbor as a security guard. He received $1,000 a month while doing this job, and for him, this money which he got was very tight to feed his whole family. And since he was having a family of 3 children, so it was difficult to put them in school, and with that whole money to feed his family. So one day when his son approached him, when his sneaker was torn, when he goes to school with that sneaker, so at that point of time, his son come and ask his father that whether he can have a new sneaker or not, because father could see that his sneaker was torn. So at that time, when father could not afford him that sneaker, because that particular month the the colonel, he spent his paycheck. So at that time he said his son to he said to have this sneaker during the next month when he received the paycheck. So when he received the paycheck at the next month, he was the kid was very happy, and he was very thankful, and he had a humble heart at that time. But uh, there was a situation when the heart of these children who were in the family. They could not control their desires. So one day uh, when the colonel was going for some work in the city, so he met one of his former senior office whom he worked before. So the former officer offered him a job at his company for materials manager job. So when he was offered with this job, so the salary which he was offered, it was more than the job salary which was being offered as a security guard in which he was working. So thinking of this, that with this their family situation can be changed, that their circumstances and whatever things they are facing due to uh, that fixed amount which they were having at that time, it could be changed. So at that time when he accepted the offer of that former officer, he could uh, he could receive his paycheck of 2000 rupees after joining that company. So at the first month he received 2500, and as days keep on going, so he earned $3,500, which was more than the first month and the job which was doing before. So slowly with this, his circumstances started to change, and whatever things they could not afford before, they could not have before, they could do and they could buy, and slowly that man started to grow rich. But the problem started to arose when their situations, although it was changing, but when they could not control their desires to have more and more things. So at that time when the problem arose, so one day his son asked the father to buy some sneakers, and not only sneakers but demanded for a branded sneaker like Nike or Puma, because when he could see his friends, they were wearing branded shoes, so that desire to buy such branded shoes, although he was having one, but his friends were having more than one. So he had the desire to purchase one of these branded shoes which he saw to his friend. So as he approached his father, so he he asked for a pair of sneakers. So at that time, although father did not want him because he was having, but in order to keep his heart, he gave him a pair of sneakers. So from starting from one sneaker, and then it started more and more and more. So the children's desire also, they kept on growing as their families, as his father's situation was going better and better. So actually in such cases when children can't control their desires, when their families earnings are going more and more, their desires keep on going more and more. So at that time when their parents, when they don't teach their kids how to break their heart, or how to control their desires, such disasters can happen in families, and for which their children can often be they can be unhappy, and they can go to their life can be filled with complaints, and they go under some very uh, sad phase. So at that time, their children's desire became more greater and greater, and now out of their children's mouth, only one thing came out, that is, give me money. So so when such things happen in a family, when the children's only demand from their parents to give money, they're uh, in the heart of their parents, they only keep on fulfilling their children's desire, and and one day when their abilities exceed when their desire exceed the abilities, that at that time the children start to complain at their parents, and they blame their parents for not able to give them. So it is very important for our children also to control their desires, and also for the parents to teach them how to control their hearts. So so next slide. People don't know how to control their hearts on their desire, having no self control. That's why self control needs to be taken care when they are young, because whatever mindset they learn, it brings impact on their later life. So people having no self control to live a life of complaint, misery, regrets. So people, they complain because it is not of their situation. People are not happy because of their situation, because of their heart, they which they can't control. So that's why it is very important for our children and also for the parents to teach their children from the very young age how to break their hearts, how to control their desires, and uh, how to control their children's heart. So with this, I would like to end my today's lecture. So the end. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy that the contestants are keeping the time in mind also. So I don't have to click on the emoji. So you're saving one work for me. Anyway, I'm so thankful to all of you. Moving on to the next, we have Miss Ring from Manipur, followed by Miss Badamon from Assam. So I request Miss Ring to please take your time. Once again, I would like to remind all the contestants that 3 minutes before your time is up, I will signal you with an emoji. So you will just have to see that for those who joined late. Okay, please, Miss Ring, you can take your time.
Okay, hello. Is my voice clear? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Is my voice clear?
Yes, yes, it's very clear.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. Your voice is clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ringpami and I'm from Manipur. So today our topic is desire, right? So desire, yes. Desire, we know that desire is a strong feelings wanting to have something, right? And also we can express desire as a willpower. So without desire, you can never achieve something in your life, right? We have desire, and that desire builds a willpower inside us to achieve something in our life. But when we think deeply, we should also know that desire has no limit, and there is no end to a man's desire. Desire has no limit, but there is a limit to a man's ability. So the desire which has no limit, when it exceeds the ability of a person which has limit, the problem arises in our life. So it is must to learn self-control. So I'll talk about one experience that I had experienced in my life. When I was young, at the age of 5 or 6, I really wanted to have egg bowl. I really like egg bowl when I was young. So every day I used to eat like one egg bowl or two egg bowls. So I used to be very thankful when my mom or when my dad gave me egg bowl every day, one piece or two pieces. So I used to be very thankful, but slowly, I really had a desire to eat more. So one day my dad, whenever he gave me one egg, I add up. Two egg, I add up. Three eggs, I add up. So my dad was very shocked. So one day he bought one full plate of bowls which contains 30 pieces. So then he gave it to me. He placed before me on the plate, and then he said to me, "You can eat as much as you want." At the time I started to eat, and then I ate around 10 eggs. So after I ate, today I ate a lot. I smiled, but after some times, I started to puke. I started to puke up. I threw up all the eggs which I have eaten before. At the time, I lost my energy. It strains my whole energy. So during this time, do you think that I will have a thankful heart? No, I didn't have thankful heart. But instead, I regret. Why should I have to eat so much of egg? Before, when I ate two eggs or three eggs, I used to be thankful. Yes, my dad gave me eggs. But when I ate more than 10 eggs, instead of having a thankful heart, since I puke and I suffer, the thankful heart didn't remain inside my heart. So the main cause of this is because of my desire. So during the time after that, whenever I demand something to my dad used to say, "Do you remember what had happened to you before? Last time when you eat egg?" So at the time, I was really scared. Okay, I won't demand anymore. So my dad used to scare me using that incident. So it seems to be a very small matter, but when we think deeply, if we don't learn how to self-control, how to control our desire, even in a small things, we won't be able to control when we have a big desire. So that is why we need to learn self-control at a young age. So I'll talk about one episode. Like I once visited Korea. So one day, me and my friends, we went to visit some king's palace. So we got on a subway. We got on a subway, and when I look at the people, I was shocked because most of the people on the subway, they were looking at the phone. And when I look at them closely, they were looking at the phone, they were laughing at the phone, they were talking on the phone. I started to think why these people are so much into the smartphones without even talking to each other. Korea used to be one of the poorest country in the world about 65 years ago. But as one of the president declared to all the citizens of Korea that in order to develop our country, we need to change our mind. So he began a new movement called Village Movement that emphasized for our country to change, we need to change our mind. So Korea has a very small land space with no natural resources and many people with no money during that time. But the president think about it and said, if we educate these people and change their mind, then our country will develop. So the president didn't look at the despairing circumstances of Korea during that time. So he started to give education to all the citizens of Korea, and then now Korea began to be changed. And 65 years later, Korea became one of the economy powerhouse. Yes. So Korea became one of the economy powerhouse, and now they have so much of wealth and have happier levels of life. But however, a big problem started to emerge. The economy develop. Just the economy develop does not mean that people become happier necessarily. As the economy developed during the generation of the parents, they use their money and they use their whole power to fulfill the desire of their children in order to make them happy. So the parents, they would come back home from the work and children from their school, and children, there would be a money on their table waiting for them, and then there would be a computer and there would be a game device. But there is no rest inside their heart. There is no place for them to take rest inside their heart. They are no longer happy with what they have. They have computer, they have money, they have game devices. It seems to be a very common thing to them. They no longer be happy with that because their desire grew. The economy developed, so as the man's desire increased day by day more and more. That is why they no longer be happy with their own lives, and they started to have a complaint inside their heart. Why I cannot fulfill my desire? They thought that if they fulfill their desire, they would be happy, but they are not happy with even though they try to fulfill their desire, because the desire has no limit. And then they would like they feel resentment inside their heart towards the parents, and then when they are no longer happy with their life, many people they commit suicide, and there are so much problems that are occurring in that country. And as the economy develop, youths are going astray, and then there is no communication, and then many game addictions, computer addictions, this kind of problem arise. Even the parents and also government, they don't know what to do about the youth problem. And according to the National Crime Record Bureau, Korea has the highest rate of suicide, and most of the death caused in Korea, death of the youth caused in Korea are caused by the suicide. So when we think deeply, these problems are all caused by desire and lack of self-control. So everyone, do you like car? Yes, everyone is talking about car, right? Even me, I like car. So what makes a good car? Yes, everyone think that, yes, a good engine makes a good car. But just a good engine does not make a good car. A car has engine and also a brake. So a car, even though no matter how good the engine may be, if the brake doesn't work well, then the car won't be able to stop when it is necessary, or when when there is obstacle before the car. But with a good brake, the car can stop when it is necessary, right? So we can also express. So I'll share my PPT. So the engine and the brake, the engine and the brake must have an ability to act against each other. No matter how good the engine may be, the brake should have the ability to control the engine. The brake should have an ability to overcome the engine. So likewise, the whole of the heart is exactly like a car. We can express engine like as a desire and brake as a self-control. So no matter how good the desire we may have to accomplish something in our life, to achieve something in our life, we must also have to have self-control. Otherwise, we will end up our life miserably. So everyone, what I want to suggest is, if you refuse to do some of the things which you want to do, and try doing something which you don't want to do, then you will notice the ability to self-control comes within you. So in that way, you can only have a happy life. If we don't learn self-control, then we will only live a miserable life. So, and what I want to say is that if we keep on serving our desire, then we will become a slave to our desire, because the desire has no limits. And if we keep on serving our desire, we wouldn't be never happy, but we will only become a slave to our desire. So this much I want to share. Let me conclude my speech here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Now we have the final contestant, that is Ms. Banamon from Assam. I request the host to please kindly play the video.
Hello, good evening to everyone. My name is Badamon Shisha. I am a lecturer in the Department of Education. Today, I would like to present my lecture on the topic desire by showing you through the PPT. So here, the topic of my lecture is on desire. The British philosophical writer James Allen once wrote, "Desire is insatiable as the ocean and clamors louder and louder as its demands are attended to." So, desire is a feeling of wanting to have something. Desire is also insatiable. it's impossible to satisfy. The more we feed our desires, the more it grows, intensify. Consider this in our own life. What kind of desire we have? Do we have a desire to be in a relationship? Do we have a desire to lose weight, to get promoted at work? These are the reasonable desires, and if not met, we became angry, frustrated, and even depressed. So today, I would like to show you a short video on desire.
Once upon a time, there was a king who had a very wise advisor who understood the speech of animals. He understood what they said, and he could speak to them in their languages. One day, the advisor was wandering along the river bank with his followers. They came upon some fishermen who had cast a big net into the river. While looking into the water, they noticed a big, handsome fish who was following his pretty wife. Her shining scales reflected the morning sunlight in all the colors of the rainbow. Her feather-like fins fluttered like the delicate wings of a fairy as they sent her gliding through the water. It was clear that her husband was so entranced by the way she looked and the way she moved that he was not paying attention to anything else. As they came near the net, the wife fish smelled it, then she saw it, and being alert, avoided it at the very last moment. But her husband was so blinded by his desire for her that he could not turn away fast enough. Instead, he swam right into the net and was trapped. Since the wise advisor understood fish talk, he translated for the others. He said, "This poor fish is madly repeating over and over again, 'My wife, my wife, I must be with my wife. I care for her much more than for my life. My wife, I must be with my wife. I care for her much more than for my life.'" The advisor thought, "Truly, this fish has gone crazy. He is in this terrible state because he became a slave to his own desire."
Okay. So you could, as you can see through this video, how this male fish has a strong desire to be with his wife, as she is so beautiful and attractive in his eyes that he could not help but to be dragged by her. So he was so much blinded by her beauty that he could not think of anything else, and we could see the result that he got trapped. So what I would like to tell you through this video is, in the same way in our life also, we should not only have a desire, but we should also, at a time, we need to stop, or we need to slow down our desires. We should not just continue just simply because we want to do something or we want to fulfill our desires. At time, we need to stop and think. We need to, we need to have a break on our desires. Sometimes we want to play games. Sometimes we want to, play computer games, or sometimes we want to watch TV. So many things we want to do. But here, what we have to do is we have to think. I have already spent so much time on this. Now let me stop and let me do some other thing, because these are the things that prevent me from doing other things. So in this way, we need to have a break. We need to stop, or we need to have a break on our, on our desires. We absolutely needs, we absolutely needs a break of the heart. Um, we can see here in this PPT, you could see on the screen that it's not too much desire, but too little self-control that gets us into trouble. Many times we think that because my desire was not fulfilled, that I am sad or I'm in difficulties. But the actual cost is we do not have the self-control. We have a very little self-control more than our desires. So that is the reason why we are, we became sad, or we that gets us into trouble. Yes, it's good to have a desire. It's as a human being, all of us have a desire. If we do not have a desire in our heart, that means we are not human. So no matter who it may be, that person wants to eat well, that person wants to dress well, that person wants to, to marry with a great woman or with a great man. But what important thing is here, we need to have the ability to control our desires. All those is our desires, but here we need to control. We need to have the ability for self-control. So then only we can be happy. Then only we can be successful in life. So through my lecture, what I want to say here is, it's not every one of us has a desire, and it's not because of desire that we are in difficulties or we are in trouble. We should not depress our, we should not suppress our desire, but we have to have the ability for self-control. So we could see the example through the video, how this male fish was so blinded by, by the beauty of his wife, that he could not see anything else. He could not even stop. He keeps on following her. At the end, he got trapped. So in the same way in our life also, we have to stop this, this female fish, it represents, or we can say this is our desires. So if we are, so blinded by our desires, if we keep on following our desire without having a break or without stopping it, then we cannot help but to be sad and to be in a difficulties, or also it will only give us, trouble and sad. So I hope that through this lecture you could clearly understand the, about the desires, how important is for us to have self-control. So this much I would like to share. And yes, as you could see here, I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest is over self. It is It is the statement of Aristotle. So through this mind lecture, I'm really thankful to IMEI for giving me this opportunity to present my short lecture on the topic desire. And I'm also very thankful to be a part of this mind education contest. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you for listening to my lecture. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the participants, Shall we all give them a huge clap and also clap for ourselves, right? We have been sitting for almost 1 hour, 50 minutes. So we have lots of patience. See, we have learned all these things from the mind lecture. So let's clap for ourselves, okay? Once again, thank you very much. I'm really, very, very happy. Really, you all, the consistency have made this program very interesting. Every month, we will be having this contest. And 1 week before the contest, we will be delivering the lecture on the particular topic. So at the end of this month, the last week of this month, we will organize one program and we will deliver a lecture on the particular topic which we will be having contest for the month of November. So since I have all your numbers with me, I will be individually sending you messages, and also we will be uploading the information in the group as well. If any of your friends are interested, or if any of your family members are interested, please to kindly share this mind lecture and then what you have learned so far, what you are learning. Really, this is very beneficial. Uh, I also get the opportunity to deliver a mind lecture twice in a month, one for the youth, one for the kids, and one for the smaller kids. So, but still then I have the heart to enroll myself for the mind education further studies. Why? It's because I have learned many things through this mind lecture. And I have made so many things in my life because I did not meet this IMEI before. You know, when we talk about desire, I really remember my school days because of so much desire I had in my heart, and there was no one to teach me about self-control. I have so much of painful moments that I still have in my heart because of the desires that I could not fulfill, because there was no one to teach me about self-control. There was no one to teach me about the capability of my parents. But I'm so happy that you're learning all these things at this very young age. And now, why I'm learning this, my lecture is I'm learning for myself, for my family, and also for my children to come so that they don't suffer like me. So I really encourage all of you to please continue to be a part of this my lecture. And then as we are having this program online, sometimes we cannot guarantee the electricity and also the network. So we have one suggestion, just like we have seen the last participant, Ms. Badamon, she made a video of 10 minutes. So for the next contest, if you think, if you're not sure of the network or your electricity, you can make a video. And then 1 day before the contest or 2 days before the contest, you can make a video of 10 minutes. The time will not be changed. The time limit will not be changed. It will be maximum 10 minutes. So based on the topic, you can make a video and then you can send it to us. And even if you have network problem on that particular day, there will be no inconvenience for everyone. So that is what I want to suggest you all. And the result will be declared tomorrow. We will let you know tomorrow since it is online. The judges, they have to collect the points and then they have to discuss. So please give us time today. And tomorrow, as soon as I get the result, I will text you. As soon as you see my text, please message me your home address, your postal address, okay? The correct postal address so that we can order your prices immediately. So that within a week, the prices should reach at your doorstep. So that you will be energized, so that you will be more powered to prepare for the next coming contest. This contest is open for everyone. Don't think that you have taken part today, so next time you will not take part. No, don't lose that opportunity. Even if you're collecting the whole prizes, it don't matter. That doesn't matter. If you have the heart, you can take part every time. This is open. There is no such conditions. Okay? So once again, I thank all of you and also to all the non-participants. Thank you for having the patience to be with us for almost 1 hour and 30 minutes and encouraging all the participants. I expect you also that in the next time also you will just come, even if you don't take part in the contest, you will be with us. You will encourage us through your presence. So once again, I thank each and every one of you. I thank the judges, Dr. Ansai Basumatari and Mrs. Yabiang and also Mr. Rabel for giving us the precious time to judge all the contestants. So thank you once again, everyone. And if you need any other information, please kindly contact me. You have the number. If not, you can contact whomsoever you are comfortable with. My last reminder, we also have a registered course. We also have the certificate course for this IMEI. 1 month course, 2 months course, and 3 months course. If anyone is interested, you can contact and please kindly get registered. While we are asking people to register, because anything that is given free is of no value. People take it for granted. So if you register yourself, you will also get certificate at the same time. Your heart will also be more closer. Your heart will also feel more responsible when you spend money. This is human heart, right? This is our heart. This is our nature. So please, I encourage all of you to please get yourself registered and continue to be a part of IMEI. You all know that, right? Learning goes on till we die. Till the last breath, we have to learn. So we have got many things to learn from the IMEI. So once again, I encourage all of you, and I want to thank all of you for being part of this program. And see you next time. Bye bye. Fighting.